أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Condolences to the parents, the family on the sad demise, and we ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant him the best of ranks and stations in his mercy, in his forgiveness. And there is a salawat that is reported from Imam Rida alayhi salatu wassalam, and Imam says that if someone recites these salawats in the graveyard of Muslimin once, the azab, the chastisement, punishment from all of those who have been buried over there is removed for 10 years. And if it is recited twice, for 40 years, and if it is recited 3 times permanently, the chastisement and azab is removed from all of those dwellers of the graves in that cemetery. Now in this lockdown, in this pandemic where everything is restricted, but in our minds, in our thoughts, in our intentions, we can do whatever we want. And you also intend your marhoomin, and in particular marhoom, for whom this majlis has been organized, and I'll recite this salawats, and you also repeat with me, and inshallah, definitely the sawab will be delivered to him and to whoever you intend, and the sawab of all of that will be given to that marhoom. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, in giving, He is generous. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad ma damat as-salawat wa salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad ma damat al-barakat wa salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad ma damat al-rahmah. Allahumma salli ala ruhi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad fil arwah wa salli ala jasadi Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad fil ajsad وصل على قبر محمد وآل محمد في القبور وصل على صورة محمد وآل محمد في الصور وصل على تربة محمد وآل محمد في التراب وصل على نور محمد وآل محمد في الأنوار برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. A majlis, Isal Sawab, it means the Sawab and the reward is being delivered to whoever you have intended for this majlis. And whatever we learn, the Sawab of learning, whatever is said, the Sawab of recitation and saying, all of that is delivered to that marhoom. Hadith says that whosoever leaves his home with an intention to learn something, here شَيَّعَهُ سَبْعُونَ أَلْفْ مَلَكٍ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ لَهُ 70,000 angels, they escort him all the way through, because he is on a mission, and that mission is to learn, to understand. Dying, death, all these are realities. And in fact, Quran says that death is first. We think life is first. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةِ, Quran says in Surah Al-Mulk that it is He who created death and hayat and life. So death has been made first. Hayat is second. So most of the importance also has to be given to death, and for that we have to strive, we have to work. Because sooner or later, every one of us has to depart. At times, that what is painful is someone dying at a young age, someone dying at a young age and departing this dunya, leaving behind young family members. That is painful. In all of this, there is a big lesson hidden that Allah, He wants an eye-opener to everyone, that this is that path, that is that route, that is that destination. Says ما من بيت إلا وملك الموت يقف على بابه كل يوم 5 مرات. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that there is no house but that Malakul Maut, the angel of death, stands at the door, at the entrance of this house 5 times every day. 5 times every day he is there. Now those 5 times also have been mentioned as the 5 times of the prayers. And if someone offers his prayers not on time, then the angel of death also, he is happy. So they are reminders that every one of us has to leave this dunya sooner or later. And there is no permanent abode here. Even the ayat that we see in Quran, or the sayings of Prophet and Ma'asumeen alayhimus salam, one of them states that An-nasu niyamun fa-idha matun tabahu. People, they are all asleep. And only when they die, they awake, and then it's too late. So we have to do something that before we depart from this dunya, our onward journey, or that eternal abode, or the permanent abode that has been mentioned in Quran, that has been made, we have prepared it. Quran, in the sayings that we have from Ma'asumeen, one of them is from the Apostle. He says that احذروا موتاكم ولقنوهم لا إله إلا الله. That is, you go to the graveyards, visit your deceased, visit all those who have passed away. Remind them of La ilaha illallah. Now the etiquettes that we have when you go and pay a visit to the graveyard of Muslimin, the adab says that you go there, you enter, you stand facing the graves, facing the Qibla, you say, Assalamu ala ahli la ilaha illallah. Salam be upon you, O you who used to utter and say, La ilaha illallah. And then we say that, Kaifa wajadtum qawla la ilaha illallah. How did you find this La ilaha illallah? You've been saying that throughout your life, and now that you have here embarked on a journey to your permanent abode, how did you find that? Now when we go and say and greet the marhumeen with the salam, we do get a feedback, we do get an answer. But because of all these firewalls that we have on our hearing, on our sight, we don't see, we don't hear. But they reply, they respond, especially to their own family members. And on a night like tonight, ahadith, they say that they come, they visit their family members, and they come and see their loved ones, and they wait for some sadaqah, some charity to be given to them, because that what is most beneficial for them in their onward journey is this La ilaha illallah. All of the prophets, all of the imams, all of the noble, they worked on that we have to be among the adherents of La ilaha illallah. So you remind them, even when you go to the graveyard, speak to them. And then there are some adab, some etiquettes that you have to observe, that when we go to the graveyard of Muslimin, they very gently, very politely walk, and then don't step on the graves, sit by the grave, and then recite La ilaha illallah, recite Suratul Ikhlas, recite Suratul Hamd, and all that benevolence, all that reward that is for the recitation of these surahs, all of that is given to that marhum. Hadith from Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam says that the moment you recite an Ayatul Kursi for your marhum, says Allah creates angels to the count of the letters that are present in Ayatul Kursi. Says for the count of all the letters that are there, that many angels are created for you, that many angels are created on behalf of that marhoom. Now the task given to these angels is that until the day of judgment, those angels who were created for you, they seek forgiveness for you, and the other lot that was created for that marhoom, they seek forgiveness until the day of judgment. So that is that benevolence, that generosity of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that He somehow wants His creation to be forgiven before they leave this dunya, and then they arrive before the Almighty Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, pure, clean, and without any negativity with them. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, he says that for this death we need two pieces of luggage for the onward journey. One of them is hasanat. The second one is qalb salim. Hasanat are the good deeds. Qalb salim, it's a sincere, a pure heart. A sincere, a pure heart that says La ilaha illallah. A sincere heart that admits the prophecy of Rasulullah. That sincere heart that believes in the day of judgment. That's it. And then you need some actions, some do's and don'ts, hasanat, some good deeds. With these two pieces of luggage, the onward journey is safe. And that is why it is said that if there have been any drawbacks, any shortfalls in performing these wajibat like prayers and fasts and hajj, etc., the first and the most rewarding act that can be done and given to that marhoom who has departed is make up the shortfalls, that what is outstanding from among the wajibat, prayers, fasts, etc. So when that is cleared, then everything is safe in the onward journey. So it's two things, La ilaha illallah. That is that permit that grants salvation to everyone whosoever admits and says La ilaha illallah, he is safe. When we look into the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, when he returns to Mecca after that many years in exile in Medina, and after being establishing a rule in Medina, now the people of Mecca, they thought that now that he has become stronger and he has his own rule, he's going to be tough on us, and we hurt him so much, we had harmed him so much, we had caused so much of nuisance and troubled him so much. Rasulullah, he gives out an open amnesty, says, you say La ilaha illallah, you will be safe, you will be forgiven. So all those people who had hurt the Prophet, now when they say La ilaha illallah, they are safe. Quran says the same, La ilaha, qulu la ilaha illallah, tuflihu. So remembrance of death, getting together to remember someone who has passed away. Now even the adab that are taught to us regarding someone who has passed away, so long whatever his name was, you used to address him with his name, with his title. Now that he has passed away, you don't call him by his name. The adab taught to us in Islam is that you address him saying Marhoom, his name, and then you say Rahmatullahi alayh. Marhoom, someone upon whom is the mercy of Allah. Rahmatullahi alayh, upon him be the mercy of Allah. Or Ridwanullahi alayh, upon him be the contentment and the rida of Allah. So the etiquettes are different now. Then you used to address with whatever title he had. Now you address him with a bigger title, and that is Marhoom. That is, he is someone on whom Allah's mercy is there. And if he was a believer, that is, a follower of Rasulullah, and in this case a Sayyid from the descendants of the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, all these special bonuses, they are given to them, the more the stronger the bond with the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam he has had. Now hadith says that aksiru zikr al-maut, remember death a lot. Every now and then, with the prayers also that we offer, someone comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen and says that, Ya Ali, why do we have these two sajdas in prayers? Imam says the first sajda, when you bow down into sajda, you are saying, admitting that minha khalaqnakum, That is, God, He created us with this dirt. From that dirt, then when you rise, He has created you, He has given you life. Now when you bow down in sajda for the second time, that is, you are returning to that grave, returning to your own, to that dirt again. And then when you rise from the second sajda, it is, you have come to the day of judgment, resurrected to give an account. So that is how beautifully, so many times every day, we are reminded of our creation, we are reminded of our departure from this dunya, and that is the remembrance of death, which is that important. Rasulullah, he says that your hearts, they rust. Inna hadhihi al-qulub tasda, they rust. Just like iron, it rusts. And how do you polish that iron? Says that what polishes it, it is zikrul maut, remembrance of death. The more you remember death, the more your heart it will be rust free. So aksiru zikr al-maut, remember death. On and off, visit the graveyards, visit the marhumeen, send the best of gifts that you can to your marhumeen, and the best of gifts also that can be given our prayers, salawat, and anything good that you do, any charity work that you do, anything that continues and grows after the departure and demise of that marhoom, all of that is delivered to the soul of that marhoom. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He has created man in a way that the soul, it will remain forever. This body will decompose. A life has been given to everyone. To some it is short, to some it is long. In any case, it comes to an end. Prophet Adam alayhi salam, when it was the last day of his life, he also lived for over 1,000 years. When Malakul Maut comes, he was sitting by the wall. He says, why have you come? Have you come to take me? Malakul Maut says, yes, I have. Prophet Adam says that, how soon? Why such a rush? He says, you lived for such a long time, 1,000 years. People of the end of time, they would live maximum 60, 70, 80. That's the maximum lifespan. Then he says that, will you allow me to come from this sunlight and sit in the shade, and there you can seize my soul? He says, yes, permission granted. And he also departs from this dunya. So everyone has to leave sooner or later. Now the process of as to how this soul also departs from the body, that is amazing. If you get time, there is a surah, a chapter in Quran. It is called Suratul Qiyamah. It's a small chapter. Beautifully there, the whole process as to how a person dies has been mentioned. It says, فَإِذَا الْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ, that is, the soul, it starts leaving the body from the feet, and the feet, they fall apart. It starts leaving the body, comes towards the knees, towards the belly, towards the chest, and the last part of the body where the soul leaves are the eyes. Now these eyes are a witness that he's seeing what is happening with him. And in those few moments, that for us it is a few moments, but for the person who is departing, there says the entire clip of his life is shown to him from the moment he is born and until he is departing from this dunya. The entire clip is shown to him, and then it's said to him, it's you. He says, it's me. Says, can you sign it? Says, I don't have a pen. Says, your finger as your pen and your saliva as your ink. Just sign and seal that this clip is yours, these actions were yours, and it is you. And it will be hung in the neck of that person who is leaving this dunya. And all of these, this has been mentioned in Quran, that it will be hung in the neck and to be presented on the day of judgment before the Almighty Allah, all that we have done in this world. Now, death we have to remember, and kalla idha balaghat taraqi. Taraqi are these two bones that we have in the neck. So here Quran says that when the soul reaches here, وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقَ, and it would be said to him that who's going to save you from death now? وَظَنَّ أَنَّهُ الْفِرَاقِ, and the person also, he knows that he is leaving this world. وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ, his legs, they fall apart. And now he comes to know that he is going to meet the Almighty Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now these are some of the ayat that we have regarding departure from this dunya and arriving to an abode, and that is the Almighty Allah. For that permanent abode we have to work and we have to do whatever we can, and among the things that help a lot, it is this La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah Ali Waliyullah Wasiyyu Rasulullah. And with this mahabbat of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we leave this dunya. Now, one of the companions of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, it was hot in Kufa, and all of a sudden after Zohr he rushes and comes to the house of Amirul Mu'mineen. And generally at that time people, they rest, they relax. Imam says, why have you come? What has you brought you here at this time of day when everyone is sleeping? He says, the desire to see you, Ya Ali. I couldn't wait. I just wanted to see you. I've come here to see you. I don't have anything. Imam says, this love that you have, this mahabbat that you have, that brought you all the way to me, this will save you. This will protect you. So that is that mahabbat a person has. And then Imam says, Ya haru hamadan man yamut yarani, whosoever dies will definitely see me. From among the believers, they will see me, they'll be happy, whatever was told to us was true. And the faithless lot also, they see me, they're going to regret. We wish we were with Amirul Mu'mineen, with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Now another hadith that shows that this point and this departure from this dunya, for those who have been among the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, how beautiful it is. The reporter is Aqaba. He says that I came to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and then I said to the Imam I inquired a question regarding this death, and then Imam says, Aqaba, Allah will not accept from mankind on the day of judgment, but what you have, and that is that mahabbat that you have towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And he says that Imam, he explained to us that a person who dies and who will depart from this dunya, Imam says he will definitely see. He will definitely see, by God he will see. Aqaba, the reporter, he says, I asked the Imam, what will he see? What will he see, Yabna Rasulullah? Imam says, he sees. He then said, Aqaba. I replied, Labbaik. What would he see? Would you like to know? He said, yes, Yabna Rasulullah. What will that person who is leaving this dunya see? Says that he explained that the person, when Imam Rasulullah, he comes by the bedside of this person who is departing from this dunya and sits by his head, comforts him, gives him the good news of the onward journey. And likewise, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, he comes and sits by the feet of this person, looks at him, comforts him, فَيُكِبُّ عَلَيْهِ, and then he also comforts him and gives him the good news of the onward journey towards the Akhirah. Now, Malakul Maut, his coming to us frequently, that is haqq. Our belief in death is haqq. Our belief in the oneness of God is haqq. And all these reminders are said to us in talqeen, that is recited twice when we are placed in the grave, and once again when the grave is closed. Now all these beautiful teachings that we have in Islam, they are such that throughout our journey and in this life, they are constantly reminded. In Ziyarat Aali Yasin, if you look into there says the same. That is, that I believe in Allah, in Rasulullah, in the Imams. And then we start saying that وَأَنَّ الْمَوْتَ حَقٌّ, death it is true. وَأَنَّ الْمُنْكَرٍ وَنَكِيرٍ حَقٌّ, the angel of death, his arrival is true. The questioning in the grave Questioning in the grave, that is also haqq, that is true. All these are facts. And then on the day of judgment, when we will rise for the account to be given before Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that is also haqq. In the sacred month of Ramadan, we recited these du'as. In one of the du'as, which is known as Dua Abu Hamza, there Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he says, God help me. Help me when I will be laid on that stone and when I will be washed. And I will be washed by my loved ones, because generally those who come, who step forward to wash and in these funeral services are those who are pure, are the people who love them the most. Says, God have mercy on me when I will be stretched and laid and without any ability. I couldn't do anything then. God have mercy on me then. And then my loved ones, my family members, they are the ones who will be rolling me. They are the ones who will be shrouding me. And then God have mercy on me when my coffin will be lifted, when my coffin will be taken to my grave. And then says, God help me when I will be placed in my grave, wahida, alone. There won't be anyone there. It's going to be that loneliness, that alienation of mine, fi hufrati, and I will be left in that hole. Ya wa arham fi dhalika al-bayt al-jadid ghurbati. And God have mercy on me in that new home of mine, where I have to dwell there forever. Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha, she also has that similar wasiyat to Amirul Mu'mineen. Says, Ali, when you bury me, I want you to sit by my head, recite Quran a lot, recite du'as a lot, because that was my acquaintance in this dunya, and that is what helps in all this worldly life and also in the onward journey. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to help us in this dunya, and especially help us at the moment of death, when we will be departing, when we will be leaving this dunya, and have mercy on us when we will be placed in our graves. Have mercy on us when we will be shrouded. Have mercy on us when we will be washed, and we have nothing that can be presented to you, the Almighty Allah. Now, Hazrat Fatima Salamullahi alayha, in her wasiyat she says, إِذَا أَنَا مِتُّ فَتَوَلَّ أَنْتَ غُسْلِي وَجَهِّزْنِي. Ali, when I die, I want you to take the charge of my burial, my shrouding, my ghusl. وَاجْلِسْ عِنْدَ رَأْسِي, sit by my head, قُبَالَةَ وَجْهِي, before my face. And then فَأَكْثِرْ مِنْ تِلَاوَةِ الْقُرْآنِ وَالدُّعَى, recite a lot of Qur'an and recite a lot of du'as. So we see that throughout the teachings that we have from the Ma'asumeen, it is this bond and the connection with Qur'an, with the Ahlul Bayt, that saves us in this dunya and saves us in the hereafter. And again, it's this salawat that was recited in the opening of this session. There Imam Rida alayhi salam says the same. You recite it once, for 10 years adhab is removed, twice for 40 years, 3 times forever. So that is that bonding with the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam that helps us in this dunya and helps us in the onward journey. Now all of these sayings and teachings that we have, in one of the quotes, Salman, this noble companion of Rasulullah, he comes to Hazrat Fatima Salamullahi alayha, and then says that in this love that we have towards you, Ya Rasulullah, and your family, what benefit does it have? She says that there are 100 stations after death, and death, it is the easiest and the simplest. And all those scary stops and stations that we have, ahead 100 of them, says that in all of those stops and stations we will be by you, we will be with you, we will help you, we will bail you out. So for that we need to have that connection and that bond with the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam that will save us and will protect us. So may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala grant higher and higher ranks to this departed soul, and Allah grant him the best of ranks and stations in His mercy and His forgiveness. And when you do go to the graveyard, the adab that are taught to us is that you sit by the grave and then you recite Surah Al-Hamd, you recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, you pour some water on the grave. And the adab to pour the water also, from the head you pour water and bring it downwards towards the feet of the marhoom, and then go clockwise again towards the head and pour water on the grave. And as long as that water and that dampness is there on the grave, Allah will keep every azab and every punishment away from that marhoom. We have in Karbala the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and when Imam al-Sajjad salamullah alayhi, he comes to bury the body is not in one piece. It is a shattered body, a broken body that cannot be lifted, a body that has no head on it. Here Imam, he asked the tribe of Bani Asad to get a mat, and in that mat the pieces of the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, they are placed, and then Imam lowers that mat in the grave, buries Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, closes the grave, and then on the grave with his finger he writes that هذا قبر حسين ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib الذي قتلوه عطشانا غريبا. This is the grave of Hussein, son of Abu Ali, son of Abu Talib, who was killed thirsty and alienated. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. For all marhoomin, and in particular marhoom رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. صل على محمد وآل محمد. Fatiha for marhoom.